Okay, here we go. No such thing. Here we go. Dalid Amid Aleph on the bottom. We are 3 lines from the bottom. 3 lines from the bottom. 3 lines from the bottom. Yeah, we're ready? Everyone's here? Haisa. I mean, not everyone's here, but we're here. Haisa, just so the people don't feel like they're forgotten about.
They aren't.
They're not forgotten about. Haisa, pechusa, meyud tvach. So the one detail we have to remember from the previous Gemara, which I hope and pray that everyone chazer at least once, is that there's something called Daifen Akuma. Daifen Akuma connects walls within Dal Tvach, and Daifen Akuma is fascinating in the world of Sukkah. It's one of those more interesting ways of constructing up a Sukkah that unfortunately no one knows how to do. And people are like, yeah, it's kosher, Daifen Akuma. Like, no, like, there's no walls here, buddy. There's no Daifen Akuma, there's no Daifen, there's no Akuma, there's nothing. But there is such a fascinating thing. But says the Gemara now, what happens if your sukkah is less than 10 tefachim tall, which we know is a problem? And you dig into it to be mashlim, to complete it, to be 10 tefachim deep. But you didn't dig the entire sukkah, rather you dug one area, just like when you built the platform in the previous Gemara. You did it on one area. So too over here, you dug down in one area. Just in case someone has a hard time visualizing what it means to dig down. This happens to be a beautiful picture. There's a beautiful picture over here. That what happens is you dig down. There you go. Wow, that actually looks good. You dig down to complete it to your tvachim. Says the Gemara something fascinating. So if we didn't look at the next Gemara, and I were to ask you, how much space could there be between the wall and the part that you dug down? You would answer, Daifen Akuma. And then I would tell you, how much is Daifen Akuma? And you would forget, or maybe someone would forget. And they would look at the Gemara and say, Daled Amos. Says the Gemara, Succah, Nacham Alaysa B'chuzim Yitzvachim V'chak B'alei Kli L'Shim L'Asara Im Yesh Misfas HaChikak. If there is from the edge of the dug in part, Kidei L'Shim L'Asara. Excuse me, I keep going backwards. Im Yesh Misfas tremble. I just can't get over that stuff. Im Yesh Misfas HaChikak U'Lekaisel. How much? Gimel Tvachim. Why not Daled Amos? We'll see in a moment. Psula, which by the way, what's Gimel Tvachim? Lavud, very good. Lavud, another Allah Sinai, which connects things. So if it's within 3 Tvachim, it connects the wall. Pachas mi Gimel Tvachim on the top of Daled Amid Beis Kshira. So I asked the Gemara the obvious kash, like we just said. Why in Daifen Akuma world, when the sukkah was more than 20 amos, when you're building a platform, do we say you have Daled Amos? Answers the Gemara a fascinating teretz. Awesome. Over there by Daifen Akuma. You have a wall. What's the problem? The wall is just not connected to the rest of your schach. Over here, you're creating a wall. Yes, so what do we see? Something very interesting. A wall that's taller than 20 amos is a wall. It's just too tall. A wall less than 10 tefachim is not a wall at all. So when I have something which isn't a wall, and I need to build and create a wall, then it has to be what? Then it has to be within Gimel Tvachim. But if you have something that is a wall just too tall, and you want to connect it, then you have Daled Amos, which shows us a very big idea about Daifen Akuma. Daifen Akuma, in any case that I have, let's say I have schach, and it just doesn't meet the wall, and I have a hole. If my wall could be all the way Daled Amos away, this is something we're going to see more, but in theory right now, the wall could be Daled Amos. Daled Amos is very big. Daled Amos is about 6 to 7 feet, which just to visualize for a moment, you're not in the room, but you could all visualize in your own rooms. Let's say there's my wall, and the schach stops here. That's a gaping hole. That's still going to be kosher, because it's as if the wall bends and touches the schach. Now, Can you sit under that area? That's a new discussion, which we're going to have to get to. New discussion. Yesterday, I think someone mentioned, in the case of the platform, can you sit under the area? And that's this discussion. Can you sit under the Daif and Akuma? Which we're going to get to. Givaldik. Next piece of Gemara. Haisa Gavaya Me Esrim Amma. Same case that we had a moment ago. You have something taller than 20 Amos. Ubanaba Amud. And you build a pillar. But this pillar is not like the pillar that we had in Amud Aleph, which the pillar was the size of the sukkah. But the pillar here is Shehu Gavaya Asara Tfachim. It's 10 Tfachim tall. V'yesh ba hechsher sukkah. And it has the hechsher sukkah. But it's very far from the walls. It's not within Dalet Amis. So again, we're sitting here in a fairly large room. Not that large, but fairly large for a sukkah's sake. And let's say in the center of this room, in this wonderful garage, which we lovingly call a shul, hopefully for not too much longer, b'siyata d'shmaya with all the prayers in the world. Mirta Hashem, Mirta Hashem. Just wanted to get an extra tefillah in there. B'siyata d'shmaya. If you have in the middle over here a pillar, that's 7 by 7 tvachim. Let's say the bima. The bima would be a perfect example. 7 by 7 tvachim. And it's 10 tvachim tall, but it's more than 4 amas from the walls. So do you have anything? Well, chay or not. Because you don't have Daif and Akuma, the walls can't bend in, so what do you have? Says Abaye, a fascinating din. Savar Abaye lemeimar. Abaye thought to say it's kosher. You know why? Good asik michitzasa. Good asik michitzasa means that when you have a wall, the wall continues upward. So look over here on this picture. This is it. Look over here, turn the page on the top line. Chaver, you click at your, hopefully this will come in clear. There you go. That little pillar is in the middle. And now those are imaginary walls going up the side of the pillar. As you can see, they're made in a different color. They're imaginary walls going up the side of the pillar up to the roof. So now what would happen if you're standing on the pillar? Do you have walls? The answer is yes. Where? Not the side of your sukkah, Daif and Akuma walls. You have imaginary walls. Then when you're standing on that pillar, the sides of the pillar, we have imaginary force field walls that are coming up all the way to the Succah.
Different than
Because on Amud Aleph?
Yeah.
Because there, we are using Daif and Akuma because it was within 4 amas.
But I could technically
Correct.
say good asik.
In a chanami, 100%. Over there, we didn't need to say good asik. L'chayr, we have.
There's a better.
No.
Better to say
No better. They're both halacha what we've seen. As we're going to see in a moment. Theory it would have at this point in the Gemara. In theory, it should have worked because right now all we know is good asik means when I have a wall, when I have a platform, the edge of it goes up. But now says the Gemara, that's Abaye. Amar le Rava disagrees. And Rava says, Be'inan mechitzois hanikarois. You need walls which are recognizable. Baleka. Says Rava, you don't have walls. You don't have a sukkah. Let's continue. The Gemara now gets.
Good asik, it's a svara?
Halach l'Moshe Sinai.
It is?
Halach l'Moshe Sinai. Pashtas.
Okay, I'm meaning because Rashi Badafka says halach l'Moshe
Yes.
by
Daif and Akuma.
but not here.
Here he doesn't say anything.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yes. We have to see what is good asik. The pashtas, as we're going to see, is good asik is a halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Now, part of the problem with saying it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, which is we have to let the Gemara play out right now, is then what is exactly the machlok is Abaye and Rava? Because Rava says you need mechitzas anikaros, meaning he just didn't. He's arguing that it's not halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That's
maybe you could say he's just arguing this case doesn't fall into the category.
so good. So that's part of what we have to see. You're bringing out a very good point. So let's see. At the moment, all we know, you are correct. Rashi brings out an interesting. Let's take a moment. Let's look at the Rashi. It is an interesting Rashi. Rashi says, "Good asik mechitzasa." Look at Rashi together. Rashi says, "Shel amud." We have the walls go upward of the pillar. Shimi bachutz saviv around them. Higbiyam, we lift them up. Asara. Sviva is roisha. V'reish behen gaiva yud. V'chashuva sukkah al roisha. We have a sukkah on top of it. V'doifnei ha'amud, and the walls of the pillar. Doifnei seha, its walls. Al yedei good asik via this concept called good asik, which you are correct. I like that diuk, that Rashi doesn't really say what is a good asik, so we have to see exactly what it is. But Rashi says, via this concept of good asik, uschach shel maila kashala, te'el ma'ala mechav v'rosh amud. So, let's see further what's going on over here. Rava says, no good.
Wouldn't this be a similar argument to Beis on Beis, where we talked about what makes a sukkah, like whether it's the height, and you look up the walls. So why would good asik even work? Your eyes are not going to be naturally.
Very good, very good. You're asking a very similar question that they asked the other night. It's how this whole Gemara seems to be negating. This goes back, and I did look a little bit up what everyone here was asking back to Beis. I didn't yet get a good teretz. It's still a work in progress. But you're asking a good question. If it has to do with your eyes going up, if it has to do with all these things, what sheikhs over here? There's nothing going on. Everyone's asking good questions, and Amir Tashem, we're going to get there. Let's go a little bit further. Amar lei. Taner Rabbanon. Where are we holding? 857. Taner Rabbanon. Not arba kondisin. If you place 4 pillars, 4 poles, v'sikich al gabon, and you just throw schach on top of these 4 poles. Fascinating. Where are your walls? You don't have any walls. Says the Gemara, Rav Yaakov Machshir, v'chachamim paislim. Okay, now what in the world is going on? How do you have a sukkah? You just have 4 pillars. Amar Rav Huna, machloikes al svasagag. If these 4 pillars are on the edge of a roof, look at your picture of Yosef, I'll give you a picture. There you go. If these 4, you know the pictures right by heart. If these 4 pictures are at the edge of the roof, then it's good. Why is it good? Good asik. Because the walls of your house go upwards. That what? Rav Yaakov, who says it's kosher savar. Amrin on good asik mechitzasa. V'Rabbanan savri. Lo yamrin on good asik mechitzasa. Avol, however, be'emsa hagag, in the middle of the roof. Rav Yaakov psula, because you don't have any walls at all. For Rav Nachman Amar, a fascinating line. Be'emsa hagag. It's still a machlekes. Rav Nachman, what do you hold? How in the world could it be kosher b'emsai gag? We're going to have to see further. We're going to stop over here for the moment. Even though, let's stop over here because I rather. It's up to Ilam. Should we just go a little bit further because it's a Wednesday? Yeah, we're good a little bit further. If Yosef, no. What in the world's that? Who just put that thumb check? Was that you? How did that happen? That was the coolest.
Not me either. Magic.
It just, on its own?
No, you can do it.
No one did it.
Someone on the other side did it.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy. How did that happen?
That was me.
No, that was you. But that's so...
I just did this. I don't know where
I know, and oh my gosh, there's something called reactions. It does it. Nope. I feel retarded now. Just... You saw it, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Okay.
We have to watch the tape.
That was no. It's only on the Zoom tape. It's not on my red. That was crazy. Okay, let's continue. Let's go. That was mama scary. Almost as scary as finding them on Zoom in the middle of our conversation. I'm gonna open my computer later and Yosef's gonna be sitting there. Oh my gosh, he's still there. Let's go. One more kasha. Let's go. We're gonna finish up over here. Be'em sagag machlokes. Frak the Gemara. According to Rav Nachman, that said they're arguing in the middle of the roof, which we don't understand what in the world that machlokes would be. Aval al svasagag, but on the edge of the roof, Tivrei Akol Kshera, then everyone would hold that it's kosher. Oidelma, or maybe Bein Bizu machlokes, says the Gemara, Teiku. Okay. Detail number 1, what does Rav Nachman hold? Meisvei, this is the part I want to see together. No, tal kedisem baret. Frak the Gemara, you put 4 pillars in the middle of the ground. V'sikal gabon. Rav Yaakov machshir v'chachamim baislim. So what do we see? We see that they argue even not on the edge of a roof. Even in the middle of the ground, which is like the middle of a roof. V'ha'aretz the ke'emsa gagdami frak the Gemara. V'kamachshir Rav Yaakov. Tiyofta de Ravuna. Tiyofta Ravuna is obviously wrong. And obviously what? They do argue even in the middle of the roof. Now, the reason why I want to bring this out is because How in the world could it be kosher in the middle of the roof? There's no walls. So let's get there. The Gemara is going to get there at the end of the Gemara in 1 moment. So we're going to go drop further just to get there. Mirta Hashem will do a chazar tomorrow, and we'll get it. V'oi, the number 2 is be'emso hu depeligi aval asfasagag divrei kol ksheira. Number 2 is it sounds like everyone would hold on the edge of the roof. It's kosher. So lema tavativ to Ravuna betarti. So there's 2 kashas on Ravuna. Amar lecha Ravuna pligi be'emsa agag. Ravuna says they're arguing both. Okay. So why do they say the machlek is only be'emsa agag? Now this is the chiddush. This is what we want to know. Why does Rav Yaakov hold it's kosher? Now, why? Why does Rav Yaakov hold it's kosher? You're middle of the ground. It's like this is the most reformed sukkah in the world. You got 4 pillars, no walls. On top, what's going on? So says the Gemara right now, this is the Teretz. Tanu Rabbanan, I know we did this fast. We'll do a little bit of a slower chazara tomorrow. Tanu Rabbanan, no, it's our book, decent baris. You put 4 pillars on the ground. V'sigal gabon. Rav Yaakov, I'm married. Now he's explaining why it's kosher. Ryan, we see, kol she'ilu yechakiku. If you would, what is it? Chakak means to cut. If you would hew, if you would take your circle and make it into a square, look at the picture over here. If you would take your circle and make it into a square, you would chisel the sides of your circle, that you have a square in the middle. Yeah, I know it's a little bit hard to see. If you cut off the sides of your circle so that you have a square in the middle, v'yachliku, and smooth it out, and then, listen to this. You have 1 tefach here, 1 tefach here. You have a square pillar. Tefach by tefach, says Rav Yaakov. Nidainim, we view it mishum diyumad. As if it's a diyumad. We'll see what that means in a moment. V'imlav, ein the diyumad mishum diyumad. Shahaya Rav Yaakov Eimer, the massive chiddush. It's a great trivia question. You ask anyone, how big does your sukkah have to be? Everyone says, 2 walls and a little bit. Says Rav Yaakov, absolutely not. Diyom de sukkah tefach.
What's the yumad?
Diyumad means a double post, literally. But we're going to see in a moment what it is. Diyumad means like this. Your L. That is a diyumad. Says Rav Yaakov, that's enough to be a sukkah. The chachamim ayrim, no. I know I did this fast. I just wanted to bring out the chiddush in Rav Yaakov. Rav Yaakov holds, if you have on the 4 corners just like this, look at the next picture. This is a well. Rav Yossi, you may remember this in the 2nd parak. And you have a well, and around your well you have 4 corner pieces on the bottom. That is a good rishus for a well that you'd be allowed to carry out of this well on Shabbos and drink a special kula they made for the oile regalim. That when you're going up to Yerushalayim and you need a drink, they made a kula that's enough of a wall. Rav Yaakov holds that's enough for sukkah. So according to Rav Yaakov, you don't need to have 2 walls and a tefach. You need to have 4, not 4 really. You need to have 8. 1 tefach walls throughout your sukkah. Fascinating to the Rav Yaakov. Siyat Shemaya will send that a little bit of a slower chazara tomorrow.
Like it's in Erev where you have to have either 1 in the middle also, right? It's a 2 on the side.
Yes, yeah. That's a very similar machlekes. It's a very similar machlekes. Siyat Shemaya Rav Aaron, if you could remind me.